Let's get down to business per se. Today we're going to talk about sales tax, discounts, buying price, selling price, markups, and commission. And I might throw in some profit in there too. That being said, let's talk about this. Sales tax. So sales tax is a percentage of the sales of certain goods and services that are paid to a governing body. So if you've been to the store, whether you paid for it or your parents paid for it, when they buy certain things, kitchen appliances, you go to a restaurant, things like that, okay? Yes, there's the price of the item, but usually at the end of it, they tack on something called sales tax, okay? Which is a percentage of whatever they're paying for that's tacked on to the original cost. So what does that mean? That means that in order to calculate sales tax, you're going to base it off the cost of the item and add it back. Okay, so whatever the percentage is, let's say it's 10%, you're going to take 10% of it and then you're going to add it back onto the original cost to get your total. So let's see an example of that. Here we go. To find sales tax, you can do one of two things, okay? You can multiply the percentage of the tax by the original price. So for example, if the original price was $10, sales tax is 9%, you're going to take 10 and you're going to multiply it by 9%. Remember, 9% is the same thing as 0.09. Okay, and that's going to give you 90 cents. Now you can also find this using our percent proportions. Okay, remember, if the sales tax is 9%, that means we're getting 9% of $10. Okay, so if we did that, it would look like this. Remember, it's the percentage over 100 equals is over of. So in that case, we were taking 9%, so it's 9 out of 100, that was our percentage. We didn't know what 9% was yet, so we're going to call that X, and we were taking it from $10, right? It was 9% of the $10 amount. So to do this again, we understand that to go from 10 to 100, you have to divide by 10. So to go from 9 to X, you have to divide by 10. 9/10. Well, we're talking about money, so I'm not going to leave it as a fraction this time, okay? This is one of the rare occasions where I'm going to tell you you cannot have 9/10 as a fraction as your answer because, again, we're talking about money. So this now becomes either 0.9 or 0.90. Okay, I would accept either of these. Okay, so it's 90 cents. It's 90 cents. So to find the price after tax, you're going to add the sales tax to the original price. So the original price was $10. We found out that 90 cents was the tax amount. You add them together and you get $10.90. This is your total, okay? This 90 cents just represents the tax. This was the original price, so we take the original price and add it to the sales tax. So if you think about it, you end up getting your total by taking the original price plus the sales tax. Okay, this is your total price. Put price down here. So your total price is equal to the original price plus the sales tax. We already had the sales tax amount and we just found, we already had the original price and we just found the sales tax. And when we added them together, we got the total price. So let's look at this example. It says you buy a car for $20,000 and you pay 5% in tax. How much is the tax? Well, here's what you're going to do. So, again, you can do one of two things. You buy a car for $20,000, so this is the original price. And we know that the tax is equal to 5%. So you can do one of two ways. Again, this is why I told you in the last unit, I know a lot of you know different ways of finding percentages. That's fine. Here's one of the ways. You can change the original, you can change the tax of 5%. Because remember, percentage is out of 100. So if I have 5%, that's the same thing as 5 out of 100. And when you say 5/100ths, that's just 0.05. Okay, 5%, every percentage is out of 100. So you get 5/100ths, and 5 over 100 is the same thing as 0.05. Remember, this is the tens place, this is the hundredths place. Oops. So I can take the 20,000 and I can multiply it by 5/100ths. Okay, I can take my 20,000 and I can multiply it by 5/100ths. And when I do that, well, there's two decimal places, so two of those zeros go away, and I end up with $1,000. Okay, so this is my tax amount. Okay, this represents my tax dollar amount. So if I want to know the total, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 20,000 and I'm going to add 1,000, and this gives me 21,000. This ends up being my total cost. Okay, this is my total cost or price. Now again, the second way is to use your proportion. So if you're more comfortable using proportions, do that. Okay, do that. Remember, it's your percentage out of 100 equals is over of. In this case, you're always given the of. Okay, the original price is the same thing as your of. So this is just your of. So if I do this, let's do this in orange. I'm going to get my percentage, which is 5 out of 100, and I'm going to set it equal to x over 20,000. It's a big fraction. I figure out what times 100 gives me 20,000, and I figure out that 20,000 divided by 100 is 200. So then I take 5 times 200, which gives me 1,000. And I didn't do the whole arrow thing because I guess I could. Here we go. This is times 200. This is times 200. And I get 1,000. Okay, and then I do the same thing and add it, and I get 2,100 again. Or sorry, not 2,100, 21,000. Okay, so my answer is 21,000 for my total cost. My tax is $1,000, just like I said here. And just like it says here, again, tax was 20,000 times the 5%. 5% is the same thing as 5/100ths. You multiply them, you get $1,000. So the cost ends up being 20,000 plus 1,000, which gives you 21,000. So that's the total cost with tax. Discounts. Who doesn't love discounts? A discount is an amount or percentage deducted from the normal selling price of something. So if there's ever a sale, you're usually getting something at a percentage off. It might say 50% off, 20% off. You might get a coupon for 10% off. okay? So it's just the percentage deducted from the normal selling price of something. This is calculated, I've mostly ever seen it pre-tax. I've seen it on tax, but this was a long time ago, and the store was probably making a mistake. But it's usually calculated on pre-tax cost of the item, which means before the tax is tacked on. So it's on the base price. And then it's a percentage of the original cost, just like we said. To find the discount, it's very similar to when you find sales tax. Okay, you're still finding a percentage of something. The only difference is once you find what that dollar amount is of the percentage, you're not adding it because it's a discount. When you're discounting something, you're instead subtracting it. Okay, so to find a discount, you can do one of two things. Again, you can use a proportion, or you can multiply the percentage of the discount by the original price. Okay, so here I have $10 as my original price. It's discounted at 20%. 20% of $10 is $2. And then to find the price after the discount, which is pre-tax, you're going to subtract the discount amount from the original price. So $10 minus $2 gives me $8. And this is the price. I don't know why it says after tax. This should say price before tax, after discount. Okay, so this should say after discount. Please excuse this typo. This should say the price after discount is $8. And in fact, let's look at in another example of this before we move on. So here we have an item that costs $120. Okay, this is the base price. I tell you that the discount is, let's do 25%. Let's make it easy, just so we know what the process is. So I want to know what the price after discount is. Okay, I know on the last slide it said after tax. That was wrong. It was a typo. It's the price after discount. Okay, so let's figure this out. Again, we can do one of two ways. We already know the multiplication method, so let's do the proportion again, because we've been dealing with proportions. So if I'm dealing with the proportion, I know that in this case we have my percentage, which is 25%, and it goes over 100, and that equals, remember, the price is always your of 120 over x. And this time, you know what? I am going to cross multiply. This time I am going to cross multiply. So I'm going to take 25 and 120. I'm going to multiply those. And then let's go with yellow. And I'm going to take 100 and x and multiply those. So then I'm going to do 100x equals 25 times 12 is 300. Out of 0, you get 3,000. Okay. And now all I have to do is divide by 100, which means I have to divide by 100 over here. These cancel out. In fact, anytime you divide by 100, if both numbers have zeros at the end, this is great. All I have to do is take out 1, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, and I get 30. So x, in this case, equals 30. So this is my discount amount. This is my discount dollar amount. How much is the price after discount? Remember, that was my question. What is the price after discount? So to find that, I'm just going to do 120 minus 30, and that gives me 90. So I get $90. Now, let's go back. Buying price versus selling price. So I'm going to go over these vocab words, and then I'm going to kind of give you a situation. Okay? So buying price. Buying price is also known as the purchase price. It refers to the price that an investor or a seller pays for a good in order to sell it for a profit. Let's think about something we've all seen. Maybe you've been to Target. Okay? If you go to Target, they sell a lot of stuff, right? Yeah, they have their own brand of stuff, but most of the items that they sell, they don't actually make, right? If you go to Target, you can buy electronics. They sell Apple products. They sell PCs. Target does not make computers, right? So if I go there to buy a pair of, let's say, AirPods, Target didn't make those. How'd they get them? Well, Target had to buy them, right? They have to buy them from these manufacturers. So Target paid for these AirPods at a lower price than what they're selling for. And this way, they make an investment, okay? Their whole idea as a business is to make money. And that is why we have the word profit at the bottom. The profit is how much the business makes from a sale. So if I'm a business and I want to sell AirPods, I have to buy those AirPods at a certain price. So let's say AirPods cost $100. I know they don't cost $100. Let's say they cost $100. Apple's going to sell them to me at wholesale, meaning they're going to sell me a lot of it so that I can sell them myself to help them get rid of their products. Okay. So they sell it to me for, let's say, $70 per headphone. Okay. That $70 that I pay to Apple so that I can sell it later, that's called the buying price. Okay. It's how much I paid for them so that I can sell them. Now, the selling price is the price that the product or service is sold to the consumers. So if I'm Target, I bought these AirPods. Let's go back here. Let me write this down to make this easier. Let's say they're AirPods. I bought them for, this was my buying price. I'm going to call it BP. My buying price was $70. I decide I'm going to sell it as my selling price for $100. Well, what does that mean? I spent 70, so this is technically what I paid for it. It's in the red. And I sold it for $100 to the consumers. How much money did I make? Well, to figure that out, I need to take 100 and subtract 70, and that gives me $30. This is my profit. Remember, this is the money that goes in my pocket for selling it. This is how much, if this was a legitimate situation, this is how much Target would make on each pair of AirPods. So again, the buying price is how much the company buys it for. The selling price is how much they sell it for. And the profit is how much they make on it. A markup. So a markup is the difference between the buying price and the selling price. Markups are calculated like tax added to the buying price. So what does this mean? Well, let's take my friend Jeff, okay? Jeff has one bad eye, as you can see here. That's okay. So, Jeff owns a, let's say Jeff owns a cake factory. Sorry, not cake factory. He owns a cake sprinkle shop. He only sells cake sprinkles. Okay? He doesn't make his own cake sprinkles. I know this is a little absurd. But he gets them for really cheap. Jeff gets his cake sprinkles for, when he buys them from the manufacturers or the factories, he gets them for, let's say, 30 cents, okay, for a cup of sprinkles. He gets them for 30 cents. He decides, you know what? I need to make some money. I'm in this cake sprinkle business. I need to make a good amount of money. So I'm going to sell this to the consumers at a fair price. You know, I bought them for 30 cents. I'm going to sell them for a markup. Remember, markup's a percentage. I'm going to sell them for a markup of 650%. Okay? So I need to figure out how much I'm going to sell it for if I want to mark this up by 650%. I want to make a 650% profit on this. So I have to figure out how much I'm going to sell this for to make this percentage of profit off of my 30-cent investment per cup of sprinkles. Not just any sprinkles, these are cake sprinkles. So what do I do? Well, in order to do this, I need to figure this out just like I would tax or discount. I'm going to find out what my markup amount is, meaning how much am I going to add on to my buying price so that I can come up with a new selling price. So let's do that. I'm going to do a percent proportion again. Actually, yeah, let's do percent proportion. I have 650%, that's out of 100, and that's equal to some amount over 30 cents. Remember my decimals right here, okay? Some amount to 30 cents. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to do 650 times 30 cents, and I'm going to do x times 100. So that's going to give me the following. X times 100 is 100x. Oops. And then 650 times 3/10 is 195. And then I divide both sides by 100. If I divide by 100, I get $1.95. Divide by 100, x equals 195. So this amount that I just came up with, this amount is my markup. Okay? So your selling price, let's go with brown. Your selling price is equal to the buying price plus the markup. Okay? You bought it for 30 cents. You decided to mark it up by 650% so that you'd make good money on this. So you decided that the markup was going to be $1.95. So in order to make this amount on each sale, remember you spent 30 cents, okay? This 30 cents is what you spent. This is what you're hoping to be your profit. So you need to sell it for whatever 195, well, whatever 30 cents, which is my buying price, plus $1.95 is, and that gives me $2.15. Okay, that gives me $2.15. Sorry, that's completely off. That is not what that gives me. I am losing my mind today. That gives me $2.25. Here we go. $2.25. Okay, this is my selling price. This is my selling price. So notice what happened. Notice what happened. Jeff spent 30 cents for each cup of cake sprinkles. Jeff said, you know what? I want to mark this up by 650% so that my profit is much larger than what I bought these for. He realized that if he marks it up by 650%, he makes $1.95. And we calculated that. So then he said, okay, so what am I selling it for then? I spent 30 cents. I want to make $1.95. I lost 30. I want to make 195. So what do I have to do? Well, you add them together and you sell them for $2.25. This way, what happens? Well, he sells them for $2.25, right? He spent 30 cents on each one, so he makes $1.95. This is another way of looking at it, okay? This is his profit, which was also his markup. So that's something else we just learned. We just learned that in most cases, and I say most because we'll figure something else out later, profit is equal to the markup, okay? Your profit and your markup are the same as long as you're not paying something called commission on a sale, okay? The profit that the store makes is equal to the markup. For example, the original price on a computer is $500. So this was the buying price. It's marked up by 45%. How much is the selling price of the computer? So if they bought it for $500, and they're going to mark it up by 45%. 500 times 45%, or 0.45, is $225. So they're going to sell it for 500 plus 225, which is $725. They're going to make $225 on each computer. Okay. Same thing here. The buying price on a car is $4,000. A dealership has a markup that is 60%. What is the selling price of the car? So it's at $4,000. We're not going to do the last question because we have not learned commission yet, which we're going to do in a second. This is the buying price. The markup is 60%, right? Yep. So now we have to figure out how much that's going to be. So we're going to do our percent proportion so that we start getting used to proportions. We get 60 out of 100 equals x over 4,000. And I know that 100 goes into 4,000 40 times. So 60 goes into x 40 times, and that gives me 2,400. So this amount is the markup, okay? This amount is the markup. So how much are they going to sell it for? Well, they're going to sell it for 4,000 plus 2,400, which gives me 6,400, okay? This is my selling price. This is my selling price. Let's talk about commission. What in the world is commission? Commission is a fee which a salesperson would receive upon the completion of a sale. Commission can be based on either the markup or the sales price. For the sake of our tests and quizzes, we are only going to base commission on the markup if the instructions say so. Okay? Meaning base the commission on the whole sale. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Base commission on the whole sale amount. Okay? Or on the selling price. Base the commission on the selling price. Unless for some odd reason I decide to change it up and I give you instructions to do otherwise, base the commission on the sale price, okay? The sale amount. Base the commission on the sale amount. So again, commission is just a fee a salesperson receives if they make a sale. It's a motivational system of payment designed to encourage sales staff to sell more. We calculate commission similar to how we calculate sales tax. What does that mean? Well, let's see. Oh, this is a good one. So Sally works in a perfume shop, okay? She's not the owner, she's just an employee. For every bottle of perfume that she sells, she receives 2.5% commission. One day she made $450 in sales. How much commission did she make? So she sold $450 worth of perfume. How much commission did she make? Well, same deal. So we found out that she sold $450. Her commission which I might start just calling C, equals 2.5%. Big money here. So $450, we find it the same way we found sales tax. Okay, so we've got 2.5% equals X over 450. What we're going to do here is the same thing. We are going to cross multiply. So we're going to take 10 times x, and we're going to take 2.5 times 450, and we're going to get 100x equals 1,125. We're going to divide both sides by 100, and I'm so glad that this happened. Because remember, when you divide by 100, you're just moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So if I had 1,125, the decimal point is technically here because this is the dollar amount. Okay? So what I'm doing now is, I don't need those 2 zeros. I just did it to show you that there was a decimal point there. Why won't it go away? Please excuse me for a second. I'm experiencing technical difficulties. Interesting. One more second. Huh. It's like the spinning ball of death, except I'm just watching this zero disappear very slowly. I'm so sorry that this is happening in the middle of this video. Interesting. Well, that's working. Apparently this is not. Well, what I was trying to say is when you're dividing by 100, well, I guess it all went away, so that's fine. So we know where we were at. It said 1125, and we were dividing it by 100 because we had 100x equal to it, right? So what I was getting at was when that happens, there's technically a decimal point here. When you divide by 100, it means you're going to go 2 decimal places to the left. So it goes 1, 2. Okay. So the amount here is $11.25. Okay. It's $11.25. So that is the commission that she made on the $450 sale. This represents her commission. Just like it says here. Interesting that that was there this whole time. Good. So we made $11.25 in commission. This is what she takes from the sale. Profit, again, just to touch base on this again, profit is how much the business makes off of a sale. To find the profit, you need to subtract the markup by the commission. So in this case, let's say that Mary's store, the markup amount for her store was equal to $200. Okay, so this is what the business would make. Okay, this markup is what the business would make. The business, and I say would, because they still have to factor in her commission. So if you do that, the overall profit is actually equal to the markup minus the commission. So here the profit is equal to $200, that was the markup, minus the $11.25. Okay, so it's equal to the $11.25. And that gives me $188.75, I believe. Okay, so this ends up being the store's profit. They would have made $200, but they had to take into account that they also had to pay Sally her commission. Okay. So here's one last example. If the buying price is 60, this is all very straightforward. I didn't give you a situation. The markup is 108 and the commission is 50. Then the profit is equal to the markup minus the commission. Okay. So 108 minus 50 is $58. They would have made, the business would have made $108 per sale. But because they are paying $50 in commission, they're only making $58. Okay, so the business is only making $58 instead of $108 because they have to pay their employee commission on the sale. So I know that was a lot. It was a really good real life situation, scenario that we went over. I know it was a lot though, so if you have questions, please ask. And that's it for this lesson. So I will see you in class. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me or ask questions during class.